Kenny versus Spenny has been around unbelievably for 20 years, and we've survived, which is a miracle. And we just really wanted to make money and show videos of deleted scenes, things people haven't seen, and combine it with our, I guess, stand-up duo comedy, and respond to the videos, and it's been great. It's a really good, solid show. We've pretty much played all of Canada. This is the last time, and then we're going to take it with sort of the best of our 8 or 9 incarnations of stand-up shows and hit the States and Europe and all that stuff. So this is pretty much, I think we've got another couple of months left, and then the 30th anniversary, I'll be dead. So enjoy this one.
Oh, goodness, I need that burp to get out. Oh.
Eating and sleeping when you're on tour. You have to eat before a show, like long before a show, because you don't want to be tired. If you eat too close to a show, and you certainly don't want to look fat on stage. But it's hard to sleep in a different hotel room every single night. Get your sleep, and then, you know, be like fucking on for that show when the time comes. It's tough, especially when you're getting older. We are getting older.
Do you get pre-show jitters?
Still a little bit, yeah.
Why, Kenny?
I don't know. I think it's I don't want to be a cheeser, but I care so much about everyone having a good show. It like freaks me out. And now we're showing a retrospective of videos that people haven't seen and deleted content, lost footage. So if the show doesn't work and we don't have the video, which is basically most of the show, then I have to go do a 90-minute stand-up show, which is what we did for almost a decade. It's just I haven't done that in a couple of years. So
the video tour is basically cheating the fans.
That would be a bitch. Well, and they don't have to buy tickets.
But there's stuff in the show that like it's from other live shows, right?
Well,
like it's unseen stuff.
Yeah, unseen stuff. Though there is some unseen stuff. I keep kind of changing it up because we're milking this 20th anniversary show, which is a series of vignettes and clips from the making of the show and behind the scenes, and just some kind of memes and you know, funny fan stuff. I don't really see this as the final tour. We kind of stopped doing it, and I realized, God, so few people have seen it, so we just keep doing it.
I got a little surprise for you guys to introduce the show for Kenny for Spenny. We love Calgary. Bobby?
I'm here for the 8 o'clock masseuse, room 806. Ladies and gentlemen, Calgary, how are you? Would you please give a warm welcome to two of the legends of Canadian comedy, Mr. Kenny Otts and Mr. Spencer Rice. Wow. You're back. We are fucking back. Holy shit, this is fucked. Toronto boys. Back in Calgary. You know, Calgary's kind of like Toronto with Down syndrome.
I don't give a shit anymore. Who said that? Stand up. Stand up! Come here. I want to talk to you. No, right there. Stay right there. Stay right there.
Spenny, you can't suck his dick here. We're on stage.
Come right here. Come here. I want to know why you hate me. Thank you very much. Go fuck yourself.
Wow. Fuck, we're back. This is fucked. Oh, Spencer's the last victim. Corey Nussbaum, age 11.
He had a mustache at 11, which is remarkable.
I think that's not a mustache. He put glue on his fucking...
Those are
Left.
my pubes. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
You got to understand. I don't care
The
anymore.
goat beard.
I literally don't care anymore. Call me a rapist. I don't care. Call me a. Okay. See, I don't
Well,
care.
that's true. First of all, I do want to apologize because I made a career out of calling Spencer a rapist, which is total bullshit. It's not rape if they're already dead, so I'm sorry about that.
And now I'm stuck with this fucking moron. And you guys who laugh at the worst jokes ever made. But it's okay. No, it's not okay. I'm going to hang myself in the hotel here later tonight.
Yeah.
And I won't even make page 6 of the Canadian Jewish News. So that's basically my career, thanks to Kenny Hawks.
We have two choices when we do live performance, right? Because we can't do what we did on the series, right? You can't do that even on YouTube. We had money, we had a crew, we had producers that helped give us the necessary locations, props that we needed. So when you go onto live stage and doing stand-up, it's completely different. And we're broken down into two ways. One is the Kenny versus Spenny anniversary tour, where it's obviously going to be heavy on the Kenny versus Spenny series. The other thing we do is we like to have a stand-up show that someone who doesn't know Kenny versus Spenny could actually enjoy the toxicity of our relationship. And so we sort of vacillate between those two shows. But the reality is most people who come to see us is because of Kenny versus Spenny. So we always have to have some of that. So when we play like Europe or places where we're not sure who's seen what, then we sort of mix both in. So we explain to them why we're here, what the show was, and then we try to veer away from what we're doing tonight and just make it more a generic comedy show about a dysfunctional friendship. I abuse the audience. I tap into my dislike of a lot of them for being fans of Kenny, and they channel Kenny and they abuse me. So I can walk up on stage and they're all clapping and I'll hear, "Fuck you, Spenny." So I don't want to overthink it. Someone says fuck you, I say fuck you back, right? I don't want to think that, well, they're actually fans because they paid to see me, he's just channeling Kenny, get over it. That isn't comedically good for me. Me angry and upset and feeling shit upon is a very good comedy world for me to be in. So I tap into that, which is very easy to do. I also tap into the horror that I have that Kenny is so popular and more popular than I am because his jokes are so juvenile. So I abuse the audience for that too. But they enjoy that on a comedic level. So it's a sort of win-win as far as I'm concerned, because I can honestly address how I'm feeling about it at the same time. They love it. They love it when I'm an asshole to them. I say I hate them. I hate my life. I hate this act. I'm only doing it for money. You know, I'm basically being honest, but it works.
But the 20th anniversary tour has been running for several years now.
2 years. Well, it's tough. We're dads. We got kids. He lives in a different city. You have to. The first show was just, for a year or two was just us showing clips that we liked from the show and reminiscing. And the second show became us doing like a live stand-up show for 90 minutes, and that took years to get that show. Yeah. So it's very hard, especially when you have a partner who's such a mess. Such a messy person, to get together and do that stuff. But we're gonna have to. Once we milk the shit out of this fucking
20th anniversary
nightmare.
tour is gonna last a decade.
It's gonna be like the 20th anniversary tour in like 2036. Why does it have lasting appeal? Well, I think it's based on classic comedy, and I don't think there's a lot of duos out there. So the duo thing is classic. That's old Borscht Belt Jewish type of comedy. I also think now is a time when people are so kind of, emaciated with the woke culture that nobody has a right to laugh at, racist jokes or shitty humor or pedophilia or rape jokes. And we kind of, our show, we're not scared of being canceled. Look where we're playing. Even though, no, this is a great club. But we have our own audience and our own kind of, appeal to our fan base. So we can say and do whatever we want, which is really kind of what the fundamental basis of the show was. We just didn't have any rules. We could do anything we want. The show was extremely abrasive and crass, like insanely rude and filthy. And then we still do that. But there's a history of filthy comedians that, we always loved, blue comedy, and I guess we kind of got stuck in that vein. And you got to ask the fans why they love it. It freaks me out that they still love it. I'm a dad, and the juxtaposition of my life from going to just some, low man on the totem pole and his family taking care of his kids to coming out here, traveling the country and the world and doing comedy in front of fans, the juxtaposition is insane. It's really crazy.
What? What? What do you love at his jokes? No, it's true. When you're getting raped, you don't come. It's fucking basic stuff, Calgary.
When you're getting raped, you don't come, Calgary. He's sick. He's fucking, his brain is broken. Look what I did to my best friend. This is my childhood brother. Like, look what I did to him. Ew, Anderson Pooper looking at me like the fucking...
Ah, shut up.
The drugs and the fucking...
Drugs.
The drugs and the drugs. Oh, God.
I didn't hear that.
All right,
I'm
anyways,
old.
lots to do. Let's see it.
20 years. Thank you for being here, honest to God.
Now, I think the last time
You're supposed to clap. I hate you fucking people. 20 years.
He's honestly, he's like almost 70. I'm not even joking. Like, I met him, I was 3, he was 37.
That makes perfect sense.
I think one of the reasons why Kenny versus Spenny was successful was that there was an underlying friendship that still exists to this day. And I don't think people think about it. I think it's subconscious. We don't deliver our lines like actors because we're not. we're real life friends who happen to be comedy geeks, so it all comes together. But it's an interesting relationship. It's been bad over the years. It's been good over the years. Creative partnerships in general, whether you look at rock bands, comedians, Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin, they have problems. They tend to break up or not see each other for a long period of time and before they ever get back together and maybe never perform together. The thing with us that makes it a little bit different is that which pulls us apart is the act, right? So we're sort of stuck in it. It's like a vortex, and it's just something I do enjoy it creatively in terms of the dynamic and if you took away the TV show and could go back in time and see Kenny and I in the early days when we were teenagers, the dynamic would be pretty much the same, right? Obviously, we didn't have a TV show. I mean, that's just layers of stuff on top of it. But there's a fundamental truth to the differences. And the differences, Kenny will tell you one thing and insult me, but I'll tell you what I think it is, which is that I just believe philosophically in hard work. I believe in learning. I believe that life is hard and you have to find meaning in life through hard work and dedication. Kenny is the exact opposite. It's to him, and I'm speaking for him, he could correct it if he wants to, it's the least amount of work to get the most out of it is what he thinks is the admirable thing or the right thing. So we're just on that fundamental level, completely different. But it works. I don't know. I can't believe we're still doing this all this time later. We're here in Calgary at the Laugh Shop, which is a great venue. Kenny and I probably played here 6 times over the years. I've played solo shows here. So it's just a miracle in a weird way. Because if I'm being perfectly honest, I'm never gonna outlive or get over as a solo. I just won't. I know it. I'm 61 years old. I'm a blues musician. I couldn't have picked the least commercial kind of music to play, and I get paid for it. But I'm never going to, I don't think. And it's sad in a way, and I think Kenny feels the same way. We're never going to have more success outside of this Kenny versus Spenny thing, right? So we milk it. It's interesting in that, wrestling in the old days, there was a sort of clear, this is the heel and this is the baby face being the good guy, the heel being the bad guy. Then the Attitude Era came in, and all of a sudden the bad guys became the fan favorites. And that's kind of what I am dealing with, because Kenny, with all of his cheating and his, the things he says, I don't know, can I say whatever I want? I mean, he calls me a rapist, some of it's so over the top, but the people love that. So the idea of a baby face is sort of gone today these days. So what I am is I'm what's called the reverse heel, right? Which means just by attempting to be virtuous and good, they immediately hate me. So I'm very aware of that dynamic, and I play to it, right? So I correct their grammar when they come meet us in the meet and greets. And they don't like it. And I'm perfectly happy to be myself, and I don't give a fuck.
But listen, it's a complex relationship. We sold format shows all over the world, and it was very difficult to get a team of people, like two people to, be best friends that grew up together. Most of those foreign shows didn't work with our format. Spenny and I have known each other our whole lives. We're insanely real, and it is a very complex dynamic. Most people, not knowing the show, would think I'm the bad guy because I don't follow the rules and they see me as a cheater. But the reality is, I like myself and I'm a happy person. I kind of abuse Spenny like Pavlov abuses dogs, like to kind of teach him a lesson to make him a better person. So a lot of people, once they start watching a lot of the episodes, start realizing, oh, maybe Spencer's the actual bad person because he's angry, he has violent tendencies. I'm a happy-go-lucky guy, and he's a stressed out, neurotic mess. So even though he's more of a moralist and plays by the rules, his persona is a lot more unlikable than mine by a guy who's a cheater or Machiavellian. So it is complex. And to me, the show, I've said it before, it was happy versus unhappy, or I don't care versus I care. The fact that I didn't give a shit made me cool. And that's one of the joys of the show is, here's a guy actively competing with someone who doesn't follow the rules, even though he does. There's a basis of comedy in that.
Shut up. I resent you so much right now.
You should thank me. Look what I did. Look what I gave you. Look what I gave you. You were here. Sold out show in Calgary. Been here fucking 15 times. You fucks are still the best fucking audience. It's unbelievable. Why are we... I'm just a shitty dad. Like, we're just dads in Ontario. When we come here and we sell out, we're like fucking these... Like, it's so humbling to be here. Like, in...
When I think about humble, I think Kenny Hotz.
It's true. It's true. I can't believe it. I did an interview today. I'm like, I have no idea. We're never supposed to be here. It's just crazy. We're just these shitty,
crazy, man.
Shitty fucking idiots that managed to get lucky in LA, and we didn't fuck it up. So
we got lucky.
So I can't thank you enough for still being here after all of these years. It's just fucked. Like we're very lucky. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love you too. Okay, last time we were here, Spencer was fingering guys' butts. Supposedly we're not allowed to do that anymore, according to the Ontario Provincial Police. That is a live sex act.
So our fathers were friends. And they weren't close friends, but they knew each other. They went to the University of Toronto. I think they were in the same dorm or whatever, frat or whatever. So I knew him. I'm older than him by 3 or 4 years. So I knew him when he was a little pisher, as we say, and I was a big pisher. But we became friends in high school because the way it worked, and it was mostly Jewish people at this Forest Hill Collegiate where we went. This is a school where Lorne Michaels went to, and Drake. Anyways, so what happened to me was I was always into music and comedy, music and movies, stuff like that. And then when we had grade 13 back then. So when we hit grade 12, so many of my peers became serious about academics, and they weren't as fun as they used to be. I didn't want to go to university. I don't know. I'm an idiot that way, probably. So to replace my friends, I started to hang out with Kenny and his friends that were much younger than me. So that's where our mutual love of music and comedy brought us together as friends. And then we made a comedy documentary. We made a few things. We did a documentary called It Don't Cost Nothing to Say Good Morning, which was a documentary about a homeless dwarf that lived near me. It was sort of a celebrity in my neighborhood because he was funny and he was homeless and he always was at the same spot. So we made a documentary about that, and then we made a mock documentary starring a friend of ours who was in Kenny versus Spenny, Uncle Bobby Patton. And that's when we sort of fell in love with the process of making something. And pitch came about because we were writing. We were trying to write a movie. And the movie was about, it was actually a very funny movie, I still have it, about a mafia don who accidentally gets a sex change operation. And he has to run his crew without his balls and testosterone. That was essentially the movie. And I don't know at what point exactly it was that I think I do know. It was because we were so naive. We bought a book that had all the LA production companies and agents and everything like that. So we've written our script and we decide we're going to sit in Kenny's old house in Toronto and try to sell it. So we call up Al Pacino's agent at CAA. And of course, the assistant answers the phone and we say, we have a script we'd like Al Pacino to read. And the guy said, well, who's your agents? Oh, we don't have agents, we're in Canada. And he said something to the effect of, do you actually think that you're gonna be able to give a script to Al Pacino through his agent with no representation from Canada? And I think we realized how naive we were. And we decided that, well, why don't we make a movie, because we'd made movies before, about us trying to sell this script, because our naivety will probably come across as funny. So that's how it really happened. And we got very lucky in that the Toronto Film Festival, which is one of the biggest film festivals in the world, who knew both of us for just being film rats our whole lives and living in Toronto. So we did this movie, and it got a really good splash, and it started our career. And then once we did that, we decided to write a movie, because that was a documentary about trying to sell a script, but we were in it. And we would see in the festival crowds people laughing at our dynamic. So then we decided to write a movie called Lost, which was about us getting lost in the woods together. Very cheap to shoot, right? Like literally just find a place in the woods and roll the cameras. And we had a script and everything. And we would go through our relationship as we were starving to death and not being able to survive. So we sent that script to somebody, and we get a call from a woman named Abby in LA saying that a guy named David Tochterman, who works for Will Smith has a production company, Overbrook Entertainment. We think your guys are really funny. We don't think you're right for film, but we think you're right for television. So can you come up with, I think it was 5 different ideas that you could see yourselves doing on TV, and we'll look at them. And we did, and Kenny versus Spenny was one of them. And we ended up getting a development deal, which to us was a huge amount of money, but it was like $10,000 each. I lost almost all of it my first day in Vegas. Disaster. But that's how we ended up. That development deal ended. They didn't pick us up, but we were in LA. We were living there at that point because of the development deal. So we pitched it to Stephen Chow at the USA Network, Barry Diller's network. It was by far the worst pitch we'd ever done. He didn't smile, he didn't laugh, it didn't seem like he got it. They end up picking up the pilot. So we shoot the pilot, and we're halfway through the pilot, and they pull the plug on us because we're not listening to the notes, the executives. The executives were giving us notes like, I don't know if you remember Spy versus Spy from Mad Magazine, right? White spy does one thing, black spy does something bigger, it's sort of like itchy and scratchy. And that wasn't what we were doing, but they wanted that. If Kenny gets 2 pit bulls, you've got to get 3. And that wasn't what we were doing. So and then we were living for a year in LA. I was working in farmers markets. I don't even think we were legal at the time. We eventually became legal. And John Moranis, who was a Canadian executive for Alliance Atlantis, he was working in Santa Monica, somehow saw our pilot that we finished ourselves, even though they had pulled the plug. And he almost vomited from laughing. And then he got us the 26 episodes on CBC. And then we got kicked off of CBC. And we were very lucky that Showcase picked us up. We had an extra 4 or 5 years with them. And now I'm here in Calgary doing live shows, still milking the original show.
Well, I've known these guys forever. I mean, Kenny in particular, my dad and his mom lived together, not romantically, but
What year did we meet?
I don't know, fucking forever ago. But Kenny's been like a big brother to me. I came on, he brought me out to some shoots, some corporate shit. I remember we did some things. I was already interested in doing this stuff, and I guess when he needed a free camera guy, I'd come out and shoot some stuff. We did a Papal Chase. And then when the show got picked up, it was my in was to shoot. I'm a director now, but it's no one wants to hire a 20-year-old director. So Kenny let me come on the show season 1. There could have been a fucking 100 DPs you could have brought on.
Yeah, but we wanted
episodes.
it had to be a group of friends working on this show. We had to be
Chemistry's
totally
everything.
Yeah, totally comfortable. We couldn't have, when we first started, we were with a production company who hired people. Even though I had a contractual obligation that no one could hire anybody, they accidentally hired people, and I was like, oh fuck, I got to work with these fucking idiots, and we did not. I eventually fired them because they didn't work on the show.
That's the thing, to be stupid funny, you need to be in a safe environment.
Yeah.
And Kenny and I, it's there's no taboo. I think for you, just being trying to make me laugh and me egging you on was just such a great dynamic. And it's
the crew they're members of the audience. It wasn't me trying to make the audience laugh, I was trying to make my crew laugh, and they're
many laughs.
Psychotic assholes. It was very hard to make them laugh. They were a good barometer for whether my comedy was working or not. So it was important for me to be surrounded by them. And I think there's a lot of creators in TV. Actually, a lot of people in business surround themselves with people that make them better, and these guys made me better. In fact, a lot of the jokes I make were thrown to me by Sebi. And these are jokes that we've been making to each other that, he's throwing me a joke that I never heard before, but was maybe inspired by his relationship with me as a kid. So it's so complex and
totally accurate
and funny, you know what I mean? So, we have the same humor. It worked. We got very lucky that we had broadcasters that gave us a show, people that got us a show, and we did what we did.
But here's something that I need you to understand about Kenny versus Spenny, because I know you watch the show. Kenny gaslit me as being a moralist. He always says that. And I did try to do the right thing and be a good guy. Unfortunately, the audience likes the bad guy. That's not my problem. But anyways, so before Kenny versus Spenny, because I was in my 30s, I think, when we started Kenny versus, late 20, I don't even know. 40s. Oh, Jesus Christ. So I was the biggest prick you could ever imagine as a teenager. Just a bad guy.
Yeah, you told me that women are like computers. You have to punch information into
Never
them.
said
Yes,
that.
you did. Yeah, you did.
Never said it. Never happened. Never said it.
You did.
Okay. So by the time we got to Kenny versus Spenny, I was trying to reform my evil ways, and that's what happened. And he's here to share all the horrible stories he knows about me, but that was from old tours, I guess. I don't know. Any more stories? Yeah. But I don't care. I believe in honesty, and I believe in transparency. The opposite of him.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's honest. That's the first thing. I think that it's comedic because we're both comedy guys. I mean, we could talk at length about silent comedy right up to today. And I think I think it's all subconscious, really, because I can tell many of the fans don't really get the skill set that goes into what we do, because we make it look easy because it's who we are. But it's still a skill set. It's still knowing who you're supposed to be in the duo, and then giving them that, And it happens to be honest. It doesn't mean it's fake. It just means we know when to turn it on and when to turn it off. And I think that's why. I mean, everybody says, "Oh, I got a friend like Spenny," or "I got a friend like Kenny." So there's probably that too. I would argue nobody's. God forbid, there's more Kennys in this world, but. And maybe the same with myself, but yeah, I think it's very natural and real. And we're all used to seeing actors, and comedians, and the good ones are, in my opinion, are real and honest and draw from real life as opposed to, and the not so great ones don't do that, and you feel the inauthenticity. People are shaking sometimes when we put our arms around them to take pictures. I don't hate there's certain, obviously, I don't love everybody that's a fan. I've been assaulted. I've been verbally attacked in public in front of my family by some fucking idiots. But, what I'm trying to tell you is that it's easy for me comedically to channel how I feel about certain aspects of this gig, because it becomes fodder for comedic content. Because I discovered after years and years of doing this live, the sort of angrier I got and the more real I was, the funnier they found it. Because then you've got Kenny, who's the exact opposite, right? He doesn't, everything Kenny says and does, in my opinion, is to garner support, sympathy, and love. I'm just not built that way. I don't give a fuck, right? So that's right away another fundamental difference between us. And you'll see him tonight. "Oh, I love you. We love the fans. You're so special." And it's just like, from my perspective, I don't care, right? But that's good. That's he's a very good gaslighter. He's a very good manipulator. He actually goes on stage and he tells people in our audience how they experience the series, which he does it so well that you don't even realize he's doing it. You don't tell me how I think about anything. I tell you how I think about things, right? So I'll joke when someone says, "I got a really funny joke." I go, "No, you tell the joke. I'll tell you if it's funny," right? And he can get them to clap, but it's just like, I'm just like, oh my God. He's just, and he does love the fans. I'm not saying he doesn't. It's just, he's very protective of his image. And, we've been doing this for decades now. I'm the only one that does humiliations on stage. We stopped doing that, but like nasty shit, fingering guys' asses, licking his tongue scum off, I do that, right? He doesn't do that. You think I like doing that? I don't like doing that. I know the fans want it. So I figure out a way to make it funny. That's my job. But I have to live with the fact that people love him. He's very charismatic. I like the meet and greets are absolutely horrific for me. I'm antisocial. One-on-one like we're doing, I'm fine with. But too many people, I don't like it. But I have to do that. And sometimes I get pretty nasty to people that don't give me respect in a meet and greet line, because I know no matter what Kenny says, Spenny does nothing, I did all the editing, that's just his bluster to get people to think it's his show and I'm a special guest. So I fight that, and I use it comedically. And if they disrespect me in a VIP line, I won't pose with the picture. Sometimes they walk right by me and go right to Kenny. Don't even acknowledge me. I step away. Get your picture with him and fuck off, you know?
And I think like your chemistry is Spenny. Like it's like I used to always joke like don't let the mask become the face, right? Because like you're in a show that's concept is to compete with somebody. So then professionally off camera, I always wonder if that dynamic changed because of
I
what
think so.
what you did on
It
camera.
got tense, and once we both started having fans, we kind of, you know, built a shell.
Yeah.
But you know, that's what happens. It's television.
But it's come full circle, right?
Yeah.
In a way, I think you guys doing these live shows, like I would never have
it's
guessed this would
still-
be happening when we finish season 6.
I think both of us would still like to have not have to have spent our lives working with each other.
Had an even bigger show afterwards, and the other guy has no show.
Yeah.
That would have been
kind
the
of
ultimate.
happened. I had a, you know, a few successes here and there when Spenny wasn't really doing anything. But it doesn't matter. It all fizzles out and dies. Like a Cheech and Chong, they didn't probably work together forever. Now they're back together. They're 90, but they're back together.
Yeah. Well, money talks.
Yeah. But no, it's a lot of fun, and it was a dream, and the dream came true, and you know, a lot could be said to have the opportunity to just, you know, fuck off with your friend and get on a plane and go to a club and sell it out, and you know, we're got like fucking legends to some people. It's unbelievable, and we're totally humbled by it. But people love the fucking show, and I'm not even, you know, years and years ago, I wouldn't say that stuff that, you know, people think we're fucking the best and our show is the best. But nowadays, after decades of fans coming up to us and telling us their experiences with our content, fuck you, or the show has its own like beloved fan base that love the shit out of it. Guys, people are showing up with stills on T-shirts that were one frame of a 6-year series, and they're like, "Holy shit! I didn't." You're a fucking fan. You are a fan. Hardcore fans.
Yeah.
Which we love. The meet and greets are great. I love meeting the fans. It blows my mind. I personally, I feel really freaked out that after not going on tour and then going on tour, I get kind of nervous and freaked out that people want to meet me. It's very strange that, you know, they want to meet you and they're so into you. And I never felt like I ever deserved that for some reason. And I've had friends in the past tell me, like, you need to own your shit. And I kind of do. I pretend I do. But historically, I don't know how I got here. I don't know why I'm here, and I don't feel like I deserve to be here. So maybe if I owned that a little more, I'd be playing bigger clubs. I don't know.
I've said it before. He has a history of urinating on women and punching women and choking women.
Consensually.
I mean, you got to do what
That's
your
a
mom.
big difference.
You got to do what your mom says. So I don't blame you for that. But he's a misogynist, scummy piece of shit. Anyways, not the type of person that you want as a babysitter. Was my babysitter. That was a long, long time ago. Play this. This is a porno clip that Spencer sent me while we were on fucking Porter flying here to fucking Calgary.
I think artists are very self-absorbed, you know? I mean, I've got a wife, I've got a divorced wife, I've got 2 kids in the States, I've got 2 kids in Canada. I have put them all at risk in a sense because I pursue this insanity instead of getting the quote real job. But that's how you separate a real artist from a wannabe artist, right? Is that this is a compulsion. It is not something I can control. There's no way I can see myself doing something different and not doing this. And even if I had to do something different, obviously if my kids were starving, I'd have to do something else. But I would always be playing guitar. I would always be a fan of comedy. I'd always be funny in social situations. It's just who I am. So I'm quite happy that it's going on. I do worry because of what I said earlier about not being able to overcome the Kenny versus Spenny thing, if he dies or doesn't want to do it anymore, what the fuck am I going to do, you know? And it's just incredible, all these years that we're still making good money doing something that we love. That's a very lucky thing, and we're very lucky. We've been very lucky through our whole career. When we got thrown off CBC, it's over. We got picked up by Showcase, you know. We got away with content, and this is actually very interesting, and Kenny brings it up in the show sometimes, the live show. He'll probably bring it up tonight, which is he always wonders if he wasn't so obsessed with this morbid humor, rape, you know, pedophilia, would we be where we are today? Whereas I wanted to be, when I realized, okay, we know how to do this, let's do a kid show. Let's make some Wiggles money, man. Let's have a long career where we teach kids good things, you know? And that wasn't gonna happen with him, so we went down this road. But it's a very good question, because we do stuff that very few people really do. We got away with it on TV, which is beyond a miracle, and we still do it. It's a very rude show, you know, it's a very rude show. And now with the whole woke mentality and everything, it's even more remarkable, but people love it. They have a craving for it. The unfiltered, you know, teenager of Kenny's humor, they absolutely love it. So I don't know the answer to that question. I fear he might be right, which is that we have to do what we do, you know? For me to do a kid's show would be sort of natural for me. For him, it would be, he'd have to tame himself to the point that I don't know who he would be anymore.
I don't really need to do this with Spencer. That, you know, historically I've kind of liked to go off and do my own things, and I've always wanted to do stand-up alone, and I tried it, but it just wasn't as fun for me or entertaining, you know. And I intentionally do this with Spenny because, you know, I enjoy it probably way more than he does. To him, it's more of a job. To me, it's more of a lifestyle. So I don't have to do this with Spencer. I've been asked to do solo stand-up, but I stick with him because I'm loyal and I'm a friend. I can't really say the same thing about us. And the yin yang, like we're so different. He's a loner. I'm a middle child. He grew up rich. I grew up poor. He's more of an introvert. I'm more of an extrovert. So, you know, I made this happen. I made us go and tour. I'm more of the business guy, and you know, I kind of instigate us going out and doing all of these live tours. You know, not to mention the fact I build the show. You know, I build the videos and do all that stuff. He's not as much of a techie as I am. It's funny, he's kind of getting technical now because he has to. But the meet and greets too. You know, I'm really lovable, and I'm really great with the fans. Like I hug them and I talk to them. Whereas Spenny's like, I'm warm and he's cold. Spenny's totally cold. It's a hit and miss, you know.
Bullshit.
But yeah, you're a lot colder.
What are you saying about me? What does he say?
I was saying that with the fans, I'm warmer. You're kind of cold. It's our dynamic is a little different. I kind of hug them and I talk to them, and you're more of you're a little more standoffish than I am with the fans.
That sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds right. I was also saying that
The audit.
I instigate these tours and do all the business, and he doesn't really do anything. In fact, he stabs me in the back whenever he has a chance. But he's learned his lesson, and I forgave him because I'm such a good person.
I never had a brother, an older brother that tormented me, right? Which is why, at the end of the day, I was a perfect mark for someone like him, who was so used to playing pranks, being pranked with his brother. And when you watch that clip, what stands out to me is how he plays me. It's genius. He's a sick dude. By the way, all of the things that I get blamed for, who do you think thought of those things in the first place? Him! That's his fetish. Oh, fuck off. That's his fetish. His fetish is to come up with an idea that's so sick and make sure that you guys blame me for it.
No, my job is my job is to make Spencer angry. That's it. That's how we make a living.
When we first met, because I was older, I sort of, I felt like I was a bit of a mentor to him to get him out of his basement. He was a drug dealer, and let's create stuff. And then when we started creating stuff, I think he realized that he had not only the comedic talent, but he had more technical talent than I did. He knew how to work a camera. So the movie about the dwarf, you know, he worked a 16 millimeter black and white camera. And I think because of who he is, I remember the day he said, well, my name always came first, Spencer Rice and Kenny Hutz. And then he just said, no, that's over. It's my name first, I do more work. What am I gonna say? I could have fought with him, but that's not my nature, right? My nature is bring in people. In fact, one of our biggest fights on Kenny versus Spenny was I was using my PA on camera too much. It's not Kenny versus Donnie and Spenny, it's Kenny versus Spenny. That's just my nature. So then it became very obvious to me that he was going to be very ambitious and aggressive in our business relationship. And he sort of, in many ways, took charge, which is probably a good thing because what comes with his way of being is he's much better at working rooms, finding executives, selling shit, you know, which is a hugely important thing, you know. I don't think he's capable of admitting my strong points unless he's drunk, but that's, again, my nature. I give credit where credit's due. So one of my favorite stories was we were living in LA and we're at a deli, a famous deli in Beverly Hills. And we're sitting eating and he keeps walking up and leaving. And I'm not really paying attention. And about the third or fourth time, I go, dude, what do you have, a urinary infection? Like, why do you keep getting up? And he goes, do you see over there? And I look over, there's a booth and there's a man sitting with his son. And he goes, do you know who the man is? I go, he looks familiar. He goes, that's Jeffrey Katzenberg, you know? And I thought, I kept walking by their table. That's why he kept getting up. In case the son knew Kenny versus Spenny. Can you imagine? In front of, you know, his son, and that happens where the kids love our show and the parents don't know who they are. So that's an example of something that he does that I could never, wouldn't even occur to me. So I see value in that. So that's, and then it's sort of where we still are as a friendship, you know. I relinquish a lot of power in the relationship because I don't want to be fighting for it constantly. It's not worth it. That's basically it, and it's basically where we are right now. He sort of has leverage over me because he did better with the money we made than I did. I made some bad divorce, bad everything. So he's got more money than me, and he holds it over my head sometimes, and sometimes he doesn't. But I know he likes working with me. You know, I know he likes working with me because he wouldn't do it if he didn't. And I know he likes what we do together because he wouldn't if he couldn't. It's too much about him. He hates sharing the spotlight. I think he does. You can talk to him and ask him. I don't know if he'll be honest with you. You know that I'll be honest. To my detriment, that's just who I am. I just don't care. I find telling the truth is the most freeing thing in the world. So whether we're on stage and he shows a video of me having sex with the porn star that he shot, when I didn't know he shot it, you know, I was married at whatever it is, you know, I own up to it because I would hate to be like Kenny. Kenny's the kind of guy, he goes to an airport and he's obsessed with how he can get onto the plane fastest without being in line. It must be exhausting. It must be fucking exhausting. I show up, I like to be early, I don't like to rush. I have my phone, I have my books. I don't even think about that stuff, but the differences in our personality works in the comedy act.
It's been so many years that we're so used to it now. Like we started making movies together in '86, and this thing came out in 2003. And then I kind of kept working in LA doing alternate projects and working for some pals and stuff. But it's yeah, I'm kind of used to it now. Like I said, I'm used to having a cult show that kind of took over a country for a certain amount of time, during a certain era in a certain genre, and that's not bullshit. And sometimes I walk into a supermarket and, Ola Salima, guys drop to the floor and girls are shaking and pee their pants when they meet us. And it's very freaky and it freaks us out. But you put stuff out there and sometimes it just goes. So I'm used to that, whereas before I wasn't really used to that. And I kind of deal with it now. Like I go out with my kids and they're like, "Who was that, Daddy?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's just a fan." So it is amazing. It's the greatest thing. I always wanted to be a filmmaker. I always loved cinema. I always loved television. I spent my whole life watching TV and watching movies. And the fact that, people are walking up to me like I walked up to John Candy at a mall, to me is fucking mind-blowing. Not that I would ever compare myself to Candy or any of those people, but yeah, it's the best. Honestly, I love it so much. I look in the mirror, I'm like, holy shit, my life is fucking crazy. Like it's really a dream. It's an incredible experience. I'm still shocked. We played a show last night in Lethbridge, Alberta, and my brother's wife's 93-year-old father from Japan, Tad Mitsui, 93 years old, was in the audience with his walker, and he said I was a genius. He said it blew his mind. I was really upset that he came because I was like, oh my God, it's so rude. Our show is so filthy. Like, how is this 93-year-old guy from like Osaka going to deal with this shit? And he loved it. He loved it. He wrote me. You want to hear the letter he wrote me? Let me tell you what this 93-year-old man wrote me. I'll tell you quickly. Thank you for your acknowledgement. I was surprised to learn that you were nervous about my presence. I was in awe of your creativity. How can you still act on 14-year-old boys' hidden curiosity, desire, dreams, sexuality, etc. at your age? I have 3 intimate friends who are your fans. One is a Christian minister and the other is a professional chemist high up in whiskey business. They were unable to come last night but are also admirers of you. Another one is younger but is the head of marketing in a tourist business. He has a collection of all of your DVDs and your acts. Be assured that I am an admirer not only of your art, but your courage and persistence to pursue your aspiration. It could not have been easy to get where you are. Thank you for acknowledging my presence, because I called him out in the audience. Some people ask me for autograph. Why? It's your charisma. Love to your beautiful family, Tad and Muriel Mitsui. How am I ever going to interact with a 93-year-old Japanese man and get that type of fucking joy and incredible shit from him? It's mind-blowing. It really is a gift.
Who licks a fucking cat's ass? Like, well, come on. Let's just stop it.
You pay me enough money, you can fucking insert my entire body into an elephant. I don't fucking care.
Your mom's dead, Spencer. You can't do that anymore. Unless I know there's a rumor going around Calgary. Listen, he does lick pussy, so fuck you. Fuck you guys. Listen.
Thanks for the clarification,
That was the
asshole.
joke. Thanks, Corky. Lethbridge in the house.
Thank you guys for being around
One
all
second,
these
yeah,
years later.
let me say, from the Haunts, it is an honor to be in fucking
The
Calgary.
Haunts.
I can't thank you enough. This is our favorite fucking club ever in the city.
This was Norm Macdonald's favorite comedy club, and he played everywhere.
And for you guys to show up 12 years after our show is over, it is just, we're so humbled and such an honor for us to be in front of you again.
Thank you.
Again, we fucking love you. Fuck Calgary. Fuck. Love you so fucking much. Thank you so much.
hate this fucking job so much. This is what I'm left with. 20 years of this shit.
It is pretty crazy. I asked Spencer, I said, Spencer, what is the leading cause of pedophilia? He said, sexy children.